And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube so you can come by later and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, where we're now featuring about 1,250 QSO-VLOG air checks. Also this afternoon we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio, and today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. We do use a lot of rotary selectors in our shack, mainly because there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing multiple signals. Also today, we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO-VLOG video. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. And now, let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim. Jim, 9 and 9 plus direct. 9 and 9 plus direct, very good signal. It's partially sunny and the temperature out is 5.3 after a low of 43 with fog and drizzle earlier this morning. And you're very, very good copy. Yes, 40 meters was good. Just give you a couple seconds of being northwest of Melbourne. Wait a minute.
Much noisier than it was last night. We got a bit of a storm brewing here at the moment. I don't think it'll be a serious one, but we will get some rain in the next 24 hours. You over here, Mike? WA30 and company. Kilo 3, Mike Oscar.
Okay, now I've got something very interesting for you there. Jim, if you're copying okay, KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I'm waiting, boy. I bet it. I can't fathom what it is, but I'm sure I'll be surprised. Go ahead, Charlie.
I'm sure I'll be surprised. Go ahead, Charlie. Okay. If you'll remember back more than a year or so ago, I was telling you about the phone patches. The phone patches I used to run into the Antarctic, down toward down to the South Pole, and this was all on 40 meters here, right here on 40, but a little bit higher up in the band than we are here, but not by much. A little bit higher up. I think it was somewhere around 14,250 or so. But anyway, we used to get at night a group of stations on frequency, and each one of these stations would have a list. Of people in the various stations down in the Antarctic. Now, for instance, Bird Station in those days was KC4 Uncle Sugar Baker. Longwire Station was outside of Bird, KC4 Alpha Alpha Denmark. Palmer Station, Uncle Sugar Peter. Pole Station was KC for USN. Now it's KC for AAA or AAA, and McMurdo Sound, KC for Uncle Sugar Victor. Now, we used to run phone patches because in those days we did not have the use of satellite back 47 years ago, and some of these phone patches were really memorable, were incredibly memorable, and I'll tell you about one particular one that for the South Pole, and in other words, I would get on and say, or actually they would say down there at the pole, Charlie, we'd like to run patch number 17 today. 17, and I'd look at my list and I would see that was, Leo and Alice Durrell. Leo and Alice Durrell. And Alice worked at the Mass General Hospital, Mass General, and Leo was down at the South Pole. Now, when that phone patch occurred, as many people that were not working would rush over to listen to Alice and Leo talking, and I'll tell you why. It would all start out, and Leo would come on at the pole where it was about 100 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. There at 9,000 feet above sea level at the geographic South Pole, and Leo would get on and say a few words and turn it over and then say over, and then it was Alice's turn to transmit, and she would come on and say, "Oh, Leo, it's so good to hear you. It's wonderful. However, I do need help here. I do need help with the garage. It's falling apart, and the mower is broken down, and it's just I'm having trouble with my insurance company of this company and that, blah, 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 and it's awful. Over to you. Over." Then Leo comes back and says, "Yes, dear." And then she comes back and says, "Well, I've got a few more items here." And then she goes through a long list of what's going on, and then she says, "Over." And Leo said, "Yes, dear. However, dear, I do have to say something. I have decided to ship over, or at least I'm thinking seriously about shipping over for another 4 years." And then he said, "Over to you, Alice. Over." And she came back, "Leo, you can't do that. You can't do that. I need you. We've got to fix the garage. The basement is leaking badly, and my neighbor's trees are hanging over the property. I've got to get that fixed. And Leo, I need you back here. You've got to mow the cats back. You've got to mow the cats back." Over. Then there was dead silence. And Leo did not. He didn't come back, Jim. K1GZL. There you be.
Roger, suddenly there was large atmospheric conditions that prevented him from hearing all the laundry list of things that she needed him to do. Is that a Roger?
In other words, she was so persistent. Every time she was on, she had this long list of things that Leo had to do. And then Leo made and these are true names. And this was probably about 1972 or 3, so you can see how far back this was. But then he got to the point, and everybody is there, hanging on to the shack, the radio shack at the South Pole, wondering, what's next? And Leo thought he might be a little bit better off if he wasn't exactly up north this far. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, I found it most interesting in two-way communications that you can always come up with a circumstance of deniability. Bad conditions, all kinds of problems that could befall the communications when you don't want to hear something, Roger.
Oh yeah, Roger. But I'll tell you, Jim. That I'd come home from work. Get on the air at midnight, and work these stations down there. I might be dead tired, but when Alice got on the line, boy, did I wake up. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger that. Now, I remember, I think there was a hurricane or something that was prevailing down in the islands, and I thought I might be able to run some phone patches, so I got out the old phone hybrid and got it oiled up and everything, and checked out, and it was working great. And then come time to do it, and I was going to do it with the power amp on, and man, I hit that power amp and everything went crazy. And I just found out you couldn't run a KW with a phone patch circuit. I couldn't anyway. Did you guys run a lot of power with your phone patches?
Yeah, there was no problem at all. When I was running those patches, I had an SV220, I believe it was. I may have had another rig, but I don't more than 700 watts. 100 watts, but I never had orange, none whatsoever. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, I guess I just hadn't set it up with the power on. That was my mistake, and that's the thing. If you're going to do something, you should try to have all the circumstances in play, so you know exactly what's going to happen when you do it, Roger. No doubt about that. No doubt about it there. And I would. Actually, I had to work, and I got off at midnight, and I rushed home 14 miles from Auburn. From Auburn, Maine. Of course, I was doing these from Maine, north of Portland, Maine, about 20 miles, and I would rush home. But before I left for work, I would check everything out and make sure it was working. But those patches, I'd run them from just a short few minutes after midnight, and I'd run them right until 6 o'clock in the morning. At 6 o'clock in the morning. Then we had other stations on frequency, as an example, Jerry, who's passed away, WHAS from Washington House, Ohio. And he used phase vertical, and I said, I asked him, what station are you hearing better? He said, well, I'm hearing Palmer station better, KC4USP. So then he would ask Palmer if he was copying Jerry W886R, and he would say yes, and they'd just find another frequency and run them. So we'd be about 4 or 5 stations on different frequencies right here on 40 running phone patches, because in those days, Jim, we did not have the availability of any satellites at all. Go ahead. Oh, Roger. Now, I have a question for you. That phone patch equipment that you were using, would that happen to have been one of those Heathkit phone patch pieces of equipment?
I don't remember exactly, but it strikes me you may be correct. You might be correct. But I don't have any phone patch facilities here at the moment. But I do think you may be right on the Heathkit. Go ahead.
Roger. I think they were probably about the only ones that were really making in mass quantity that device. I know I've had two through the years, and they always worked fairly well, except in where you had great deals of power, and then you would have wind up with me personally, RF in the AF, and kind of defeat the whole purpose. Well, Charlie, that's very interesting. I thank you for sharing that with us. And gosh, the weather doing all right up that way?
Yeah, it's really cooled off. It's really cooled off, Jim. It's now partly sunny. The sun just came out, and it's in the low 50s, about 5 degrees. And I don't think the high today will be over 54 or 5. But the valley tonight will have some frost. We'll have some scattered frost, but I'm not in the valley. I'm up in the high country. That's over 2,000. By the way, here's how you sound.
Personally, RF in the AF, and kind of defeat the whole purpose. Well, Charlie, that's very interesting. I thank you for sharing that with us. And gosh, the weather doing all right up that way?
Okay, so Jim, I'll try to catch you next Friday. We'll catch you next Friday, and I certainly hope you all stay there and all over the planet. Boy, what is going on these days is incredible. Incredible. KC9VKV, and thank you for letting me come aboard. K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Three's up that way, sir. Roger. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. And we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. KC9VKV listening.
KC9VKV listening.
This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG network. We're running this afternoon 4 internet SDR receivers to better copy 100-watt friends. We're monitoring Arlington, Virginia, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Rochester, New York, and our local antenna, where we're running 2 10-foot magnetic loop antennas, one aimed east and west and the other north and south, all about trying to get better copies on our 100-watt friends. This is KC9VKV listening.
Mike Echo, Juliet.
Station ending in Juliet, come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Phonetically with your call sign, please. Kilo, Mike, 4, Mike, Echo, Juliet. Go ahead.
Roger, Mike Echo Juliet. What's the name there, please?
Mike Echo Juliet. What's the name there, please? Good afternoon. The name is Jeff. Juliet Echo Fox.
Roger, Jeff. And whereabouts are you, sir?
Roger, Jeff. And whereabouts are you, sir? I am located in Hunter's.
Sorry, Jeff. Just Milford to PA just went out. Hang on just a minute. Let me bring that back up. Milford has all different kinds of conditions and circumstances when you use their SDR, and one of them is they call it inactivity, and that is if you don't do anything over like a half hour, then they kick you off because of lack of attention. And what I do, I just bring it up and use it as a monitor. I don't have to do anything, and they think I should, so they don't. They ding me for that. And then if I'm on there too long, they ding me for being there too long. So I don't know. Jeff, come back with your location again, please, sir.
Roger that. I'm located in Huntersville, North Carolina, just a little bit north of Charlotte.
Roger, Jeff. Copy, North Carolina. And what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm running ICOM 7300 radio, and I'm also running a 40.
Alrighty, why don't you give me about 10-15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system so I can look around and see if I can find a better path for us.
Roger that. I said, yeah, I sure will. 40 meters.
oscillators would all have to deal with the tuning. But I go back and forth between this frequency or this band using both my 40 and or 80 meter loop. All right, Jim, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm still on Milford. I went around, and my best copy is on the Milford PA SDR. We could give a little a fatter signal there, I think, Jeff, if you would be interested.
Coming on with the music, it sounds like. I have a feeling that's not you, but go ahead.
Roger, Jeff. Well, you're running the 7300, so the first step in the setup for the 7300 is get that compressor on. You engage your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it's just exactly what you need there. So activate your compressor and put it on a 3. Roger?
Looks like we have a very rude ham radio operator that's playing music right now over my signal.
Jeff, I don't copy him at all. You're in the clear, sir. Can you? Hopefully, you can copy me.
I can barely copy you due to this very rude person. I also went to my other get the opportunity to work with you.
Yeah, Roger, Jeff, I can copy him on my local antenna. You know, QRMers are just a breed amongst themselves. I see that we have one chosen to join us again today, and I can just see him hiding out in his little room, acting out his little secret fantasy, his uncontrollable desire to be in control. But I know that he knows QRMing is a negative reaction to a past life experience. And now QRMing has become a habit because it hasn't cost him anything yet. But his luck will run out. He will be found out, and everyone will know he's not the nice guy everybody thought he was. He is the QRMer. QRMer, hear my words. Your day of reckoning is near. Your life will be ruined when you ultimately have to pay your due to society. But my brother, you have a chance now to walk away from this dangerous, almost uncontrollable urge to control and disrupt. You have the power to help yourself by recognizing this inward hurt manifesting in an outward attempt to seek relief through the satisfaction of hurting others. You must realize, my brother, what's been done in your life is done. You have to rise above the past and seek control of your future. Rise up and start a new you, a better you, a positive you, through God's help. Amen, brother. Now, Jeff, where were we, sir? KM4MEJ, KC9VKV.
Roger that. I have a good copy on you.
Roger, Jeff. Well, continuing our setup for the 7300. Engage your compressor. I'll give you some notes and you can do them at your leisure. Perhaps that might be easier, unless you know your 7300 pretty well. If in case you do know the 7300 pretty well, I'll just give you the information here. First off, engage your compressor at S3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to be. So compressor on and add a 3. Then move to your ALC meter with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC by speaking naturally into your microphone and adjust your mic gain control until your ALC meter is reading mid-scale to 2/3. So you're speaking just naturally, normally. You're not saying, hey, you got to set it level or, whistle or any of that. You're just speaking naturally into your microphone and then adjusting your mic gain control until your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Is on 3, and the mic gain to ALC is going about, I want to say almost 3/4. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. That sounds perfect. And tell me something about the 7300 that you really enjoy.
Oh my goodness, I really love this radio. And by the way, I just switched to my 80-meter loop. Not good. Please let me know. I will correct it. But right now I am on my 80-meter loop. But I really like the waterfall display. I enjoy the way this thing is laid. The way this thing is laid out, all the meters I can see on one screen, or what displays. Very clever, great way to adjust the radio. I'm still learning. The best way to filter when I get a rough day on various bands. Okay, Jim, go ahead.
Roger. Well, it sounds good. Now, I haven't really, thought about doing the EQ part of it. Are you running, what microphone are you running, sir?
I am running the stock handheld microphone that came with the radio originally. Go ahead.
Alrighty, now you have to work that microphone to the side of your lips. Pull that microphone to the side of your lips and talk across it. Do not talk directly into that hand mic. It's a great mic, but you have to know how to utilize it, and that is pull it to the side of your mouth and just work across it, and that will eliminate most of the mouth noises. Roger?
Okay, how does it sound right here? I'll give just a moment for talking, but I am basically talking across the side of the microphone. How does it sound right here, Jim?
Roger. Now, do you know where your tone adjustments are for your equalization, transmit equalization?
Yes, I sure do. I can get to them just in a second. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead and find those, and we'll do some work there. Get you set up all the way. You know, those setup for radios, we use a fairly generic setup procedure that, we wind up with a 3 dB dynamic range, which is a nice nice fat audio signal that does not show any signs of processing. I think that's the thing. We, use system settings that are very transparent, yet we arrive at exactly where we want to be, and that is a 3 dB transmit dynamic range. So go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I believe someone asked if the frequency is in use, and yes, the frequency is in use. Okay, back to you, Jim. I am on my tone control. And my treble is set to positive 2. Go ahead.
I'll repeat your treble adjustment.
My treble is set to positive 2, +2.
All right, take that on up to +4. That up to +4, and then let me hear you.
Okay, roger that. My treble is now set to +4. Go ahead there, Jim.
Roger, sounds nice. I think you got it there. I think we've done what we need to do there. You have a 3 dB dynamic range with a nice edge to your audio articulation. You know, that is the name of the game. When you're in a pile-up or when you're at the bottom of somebody's noise level, the clearer, cleaner that they can hear your audio, the better that they can understand the words that you're saying. It's unfortunate that a lot of folks' audio is does not have a very articulated signal, so consequently when they get distracted by any kind of noise or QRM or whatever, it's very difficult to hear what they're saying because it doesn't have that nice defined articulated top end. Roger?
Roger that, Jim. Roger that. And I am talking across the microphone as you have instructed. And as I said before, my bass is set to -2. That's -2 on the bass.
Roger. Yeah, now you could come up to 0 flat. Come up to flat on your bottom end and let me hear you.
Okay, I am at 0 on the bass. I said 0 on the bass and +4 on the treble. Go ahead.
Sounds good. Now, I would, when I got a chance, I would go ahead and get a windscreen, a foam windscreen for that mic. You know, today they're making those foam windscreens very short, like about 3 inches instead of, they used to make it that would fit the whole microphone, but now they're just making it for about 3 inches long, and you can just slip that over over your hand mic there, and that will solve all of your problems. Now, what you need to do when you do that is take a little piece of tape, what is that white tape? I forget what it is, but masking tape, and just tape the right side of the microphone, because sometimes, with that windscreen on there, you can't tell exactly right off. You could be on the wrong end of the microphone, so just put a little piece of masking tape on the right side, so you know you're on the right side of that mic, Roger.
Oh, that makes good sense. It would be very easy to talk to the back of the microphone. So am I getting too much wind noise as I'm talking right now, or is there something else I can do with the placement of the microphone? Go ahead.
No, it's minimized from what it was, but occasionally there still is just a little bit. Now you can minimize that even further by pulling that mic back a little bit further on the side of your mouth and actually touching your lips on the side of your lips and talking across it that way. Roger?
Okay, how about that right there? I'm talking across the microphone. Let's go with this. How does this sound?
Roger, that will eliminate about 90% of the transit mouth noises. But if you really want to do the absolute best job, just go down to your local music store and get yourself a foam windscreen or two. They're come in all kinds of colors. I think they're about $3 a piece, so you could get 5 or 6 and have a different color for every day of the week if you wanted to. But those little foam windscreens just absolutely break up any kind of turbulence that might be coming out from your voice, from your mouth towards the microphone, and they do not interfere with the frequency response of the microphone. So they're just amazing little devices. Roger? Roger Jeff. That hand mic, incidentally, is just a beautiful work of art for a stock hand mic for a radio. I mean, they really went overboard for that microphone. It just is so makes that radio sound so nice. And if you wanted to replace that mic with a desk mic, it'd probably cost you about $250. And you would have to maybe do a steeper EQ curve to just come out even with where that hand mic is at the moment. Roger?
Roger that. Well, I'm looking forward to listening to the recording on Sunday and just see what this thing sounds like. And like I said, I go between 2 different antennas, 2 loops. I have a 40 meter and an 80 meter, and right now we are on the 80 meter loop. Go ahead.
Roger, can you go to the 40 real quick and we can compare them?
Roger, give me just one moment. I will be right there.
All right, I've got your level set for 0, and we just shall see if the 40 meter loop is hotter or not than the 80 meter loop. Jeff, I don't know, was that you on the 40? I couldn't copy you. If that was you, sir, go back to your 80 meter loop. If that were you, go back to the 80 meter loop. Roger, roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. Right now we're talking with Jeff, KM4MEJ, and we're looking at the differences of radiation patterns between his 80 meter and his 40 meter loop antennas. Go ahead, Jeff. So, Jeff, I guess maybe Mother Nature has just pulled the plug. It wasn't, maybe your 40-meter antenna was in the mud after all. I'm not, if you went back to your 80, I'm not copying you at all, sir. Roger, Jeff. Yeah, you were about, well, when we ended our conversation right before you went to switch to the 40-meter loop, you were at 6 dB above my noise level, and then you went to 0, and I thought that was when you went to your 40, but actually Mother Nature just pulled the plug. So anyway, yeah, we'll be posting this sometime within 48 hours from now. We always try to give ourselves a little time in case things get real busy and we get backed up. So we want to always be able to make our commitments. We say 48 hours, 2 days from today, and we're trying something a little different now. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the date 9/11/20, that will get you probably as best to this recording as possible. YouTube used to put our latest entries right on page 1, but now, sometimes, gosh, they're buried way down, and it takes forever to get there. So when you go looking for today's recording, you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor 9/11/20, KC9VKV 9/11/20, and that should bring up this recording. Roger?
Roger that, Jim. Thank you very much. Okay, I will give the time back to someone else if you can work with someone else. Thank you so much, and Kilo Mike 4, Mike Echo Juliet 73.
Roger, Jeff, just before you go, man, you're hot. You're hot. Give me a 15 on something that you like about that 7300.
Roger that. Let's see. I just love about I would have to say the waterfall display is just so nice, and watching the meters go across and the way things are working. This is a very good radio. It's my first HF rig, and I'm very happy with this thing. I would buy another one in a heartbeat. Go ahead.
Roger, sounds great. Yeah, get your windscreen. I'm sure that your local music store would have bunches. So just get that foam windscreen, and that'll solve every little problem. Roger.
Roger that, Jim. Thank you so much. KM4NEJ 73, and thank you so much.
Roger, 3-set way, Jeff. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo 0, Kilo Yankee Echo.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo, is that a Roger?
Kilo Yankee Echo.
Kilo 0, Kilo Yankee Echo.
Roger.
Hey, and what's the name there, sir?
Name here is Kyle, Jim. I spoke with you in the past. It's been quite a long time, but I remember today was your day to be on the frequency, so I'd give you a call. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Now, let's see. What radio are you running, sir?
This is my old Yaesu FT101EE with a Collins 3001 amplifier running about 500 watts into a Johnson Viking matchbox that's tuning a random length of wire.
Roger that. And what's your location?
I'm in north central Iowa, about 60 miles north of Des Moines.
Alrighty, and looking at your audio on a spectrum analyzer, you could use a little more bottom-end audio. You're cutting off somewhere around, looks about 400 cycles. You could take that on down just a little bit for a little more bottom-end, Roger?
Well, this radio doesn't have much control over the tone of the transmission. I'm using an old static D104 microphone. It's a powered mic, and it has no processor in it. It has capability to add a processor, but it doesn't have processing ability.
Roger, Roger. Well, you're lucky that you've got the built-in amplifier on the D104. If you were to be trying to run that cartridge direct without the amplifier, you really would be sheet 10, because that's a really high impedance element in that D104 mic, and it is working into its own amplifier, which that's the good thing. And then when it comes out, it's coming out probably at about 600 ohms, so you have a good match into your radio. Roger?
Yeah, Roger that. This is a bit of an antique. I use it, it is actually the best performing radio that I own, and I really enjoy using it. Back to you.
Roger. Now, we do have a generic setup to get 3 dB dynamic range in a very transparent way. We do start, I'm sure you do have a compressor. We suggest turning the compressor on at a token amount, just a 3. It's a setting that you will never hear work. And that's the idea behind setting equipment up properly, that you don't want to hear it actually working. Roger?
Roger that, but no, it doesn't even have a compressor on it.
Well, it's for what it is. It sounds good. The only thing I noticed was, it's not quite a 3 dB dynamic range. You're probably about 4.5. Does it have an ALC meter?
It does, but given that there's no processor on it, the ALC, the thing doesn't really any settings that I change really doesn't have any impact on the ALC.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Your mic gain directly controls your ALC. What we suggest is that you bring your ALC meter up with mic gain in hand, and just speak naturally into your microphone normally, and just adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Mid-scale to 2/3 by way of adjusting your mic gain control. Roger, Roger?
I'll give it a try. I've got the ALC turned on. I'm going to turn my mic gain up a little bit and see if, can you tell any difference in that I jumped it up about 2 notches.
Right, I can tell the difference, but what I want you to do is to look at your ALC and make that adjustment yourself, because you can see, the ALC meter is your Bible for that radio, and it will tell you more what that radio is doing than your best buddy down the street. So what you want to do is adjust your mic gain until that ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. The actual sweet spot is right between mid-scale and 2/3, but you have the plus and minus, so we suggest mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC. Roger?
Okay, I'm going to. The peculiar thing is the ALC is stuck right at 3, and it's right at mid-range, regardless of where I turn the mic gain.
Is that an actual meter or electronic rendition?
It's an actual meter. It's the meter on the face of the radio. It's got 3 settings: IC, power out, and ALC. And I've got the switch down to ALC.
I wouldn't change a thing, sir. You're 3 dB dynamic range right now, so just hands off. You got exactly what you need to do. 3 dB dynamic range. If you consider that the normal speech is 10 dB dynamic range, that is, if I was speaking on a PA system with no processing, my dynamic range would be 10 dB. That is, the dynamic range is the difference between the smallest amount of signal from my voice and the loudest amount. That would be the total dynamic range is 10 dB. But when we go to transmit that, it just doesn't work out very well because of all the noise factors and stuff. So we want to reduce the dynamic range to make the signal fatter. That way we reduce the signal to noise ratio, and 3 dB is ideal. Now you can continue on and crunch that up audio even further down to 2 dB, 1 dB. But what happens when you pass 3 dB, you start becoming more difficult to understand because you need some dynamics in your voice to actually define the words that you're using. Otherwise, it's just a blur. You know, if I were to be able to push you on into a half a dB dynamic range, it would be just a scream blurred, you know, signal without any life to it. It'd be very difficult to understand, Roger.
Yes, I understand. That's good information to have. But I have threatened to actually purchase a processor for this thing, and I'm not sure if that would really gain me all that much. What do you think?
Oh, yes. Now, you could go to an outboard preamp. Art makes a nice little preamp, and Behringer makes a nice little preamp. They're give you the facility for using a condenser microphone. Now, you're using that D104, which is a nice communications microphone, but it does have certain inalienable distortions. The D104 is intrinsically distorted in only a way that it can. I can't describe it, but it is a distortion that you can identify a D104 in use, even when you have the proper match with the amp into the radio. So if you really wanted to hip up your act, you could go and get you an Art preamp or a Behringer preamp. They're like $50, and you just take the output. You might have to pad it down just a little bit to go into your mic input, but it does have a output pad and an input pad, so you can make the adjustments of level match. And the beautiful part about it is that it gives you a phantom voltage on your mic that you could start using a condenser microphone, which would be just tremendously enhancing as far as the sound. Roger?
Copy that, yes. Well, I might try that someday. It's worth looking at. But with respect to what I'm doing with this radio, maybe I should just leave well enough alone.
Well, now that's a point, too. It does sound nice. And I think you'll like the recording if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the date, 9/11/20. That should take you directly to this recording. Roger?
I'll do that. You can be sure. That's one thing I enjoy about our conversations that we've had in the past, is being able to listen to them on the YouTube channel. That's very nice.
Roger, and I am copying you the mail on my local receiver, which is pretty highly modified in receive and transmit, and I'm fairly well flat to below 100 cycles. So unlike SDR receivers on the internet, they do tend to roll at maybe 250 cycles down. I'm flat beyond 100 cycles, and the output of this receiver is up on a spectrum analyzer, so you can see your actual curve. Roger?
Roger that. I'm going to do one last thing before I go, Jim. I'm going to try contacting you without my amplifier and see if I can, so I can listen to the difference in the signal when I listen to YouTube.
All right, I have you set for 0 level on my meter, and so when you come back, it'll be the difference.
Okay. How's this sound? Is this am I doing much with my amplifier?
Okay, yeah, you're 3 dB, let's see, no, you're 5 dB below where you were. Come back and tell me about your antenna system at low power, and let me get a nice signal on you.
All right, my antenna is a random wire. It's just I don't even know how many feet it is. It's over 100 feet, and I'm putting it into an old Johnson Viking matchbox to tune it up, and it tunes up very nicely. I've had extremely good success with it. Back to you.
All right, now power up and come back with power, and let me see you.
Okay, this is the amplified version, and it should sound a whole lot better, I think.
Oh yeah, there's at least a 7 dB difference between your no power and full power there. 7 dB, which is and I'm not talking like RF signal. I'm talking about your audio on a VU meter, and I've got you calibrated for the 0 level on your full power, and then when you drop down, then I'm looking at like a -7 as far as peak. So there's a 7 dB difference between full power and flat. Roger?
Roger that. Okay, Jim. Well, thanks so very much for taking my call. I enjoy what you do, and I'm going to be sure to look at the YouTube on this, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you again sometime. KC9VKV, this is K0KYE, and I'm going to be clear on your final. Thank you.
Roger, Cal. 3Z way, sir, and hope you have a great day and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shot. There was somebody in the 0, but I have been shanghaied by Milford again, so let me set that up real quick. I've got a feeling that I'll be needing that, and so yes, check 1 2 3. Okay, and now station ending in 0. Come back and try it again, please.
Try it again, please. 0, uniform Oscar. The name is Steve, and I'm in western Kansas. Over.
I copied Steve. I was in the transitory situation there, Steve. I'm copying you on the Atlanta, Georgia SDR. What is your location, sir?
What is your location, sir? I'm in western Kansas, near Dodge City, Kansas. Over.
Copy, Steve, near Dodge City, Kansas. And what's the radio you're running, sir?
What's the radio you're running, sir? I'm running an Icon 7610, and I am aimed to the northeast with a rhombic antenna that's half a mile up on 100-foot poles, and it is terminated. If you're in Atlanta, maybe I need to change antennas. Over.
No, I'm in near Louisville, Kentucky. I'm just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm in Indiana, but just across the river from Louisville. Roger.
From Louisville, Roger. Oh, Roger, very good. Well, let's read the correct antenna. And running about 85 watts here on the transmitter. You're 20 over 9 with no preamp here.
Oh, roger that. Now I've got you at 5 dB above my noise level on my local antenna. Now this 7610, we have a generic setup for that if you might be interested in fattening your transmit audio just a tad.
Yeah, Roger, go ahead.
All right, it starts with engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, but it's exactly what's needed there. So bring up your compressor and adjust it to a 3. Roger?
Yeah, it's currently set at 3.
All right, then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you speak normally into your microphone, adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. Again, with your mic gain speaking naturally, adjust the ALC for mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, very good there. I'll turn my mic gain down just a bit there. That should be okay. K0, uniform Oscar.
By George, I think you got it there. Now, one other thing, if you go to, let's see here, Quick, which brings up Drive, and tell me what the reading is on that.
Yeah, it's a default setting, 50%, I believe.
All right, move that up to 60%. Let me hear you.
It's Kilo 0, uniform Oscar.
Yes, sir. Give me about 10 seconds on the thing you like, 10 to 15 seconds on the thing you like best about the 7610.
Okay, very good. Well, I use dual diversity receive here, running different antennas, and the 7610 has that, and also the Flex radio. I had one before, 6700, that had that. But I was at default setting of 50, and that's what I normally run the icons at here. I have two 7610s and a 7800 also. Over.
Roger, Roger. That the drive at 60 just gives you another little squish of fatness in your signal. You know, just that's the thing that the 7300 does not have. And we did pretty extensive tests on 7610 drive, and matter of fact, we took it all the way to full up. To 100% drive, and that will give you a half a dB of dynamic range. I mean, you would never want to run it like that, but that's the end result when you take that drive up to 100%. Now, if you can imagine looking at a VU meter on the receiver some hundreds of miles away, and you would expect that VU meter to be bouncing along with the person's voice, but with a half a dB of dynamic range, it's only moving quivering. It kind of looks like a plate watt meter or plate current meter, Roger.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'll experiment with both of my 7610s. And on the 7300, what's the correct setting on the drive?
7300 has no drive. That's the difference. One of the differences between the 7300 and the 7610, Roger.
About a 4 and a minus of about either a 1 or 2 on the base.
Roger, Roger. And come back with your call sign slowly, phonetically, please.
Kilo 0, uniform Oscar. Kilo 0, uniform Oscar, named Steve.
Roger, Steve. I had everything but the call sign there. And yeah, like I say, that there is no drive on the 7300. That's one of the things that sets the two radios apart. And I guess a lot of folks don't really understand that drive, but it is a furtherance of the fattening of the audio that you have that on the 7610. Roger?
Okay, very good. Yes, I knew about it on the 7610, but hadn't even considered it on the 7300. That's why I asked. And also, I'm very familiar with the IP Plus and how that works with the ditter as well.
Roger, and so I've got a pretty good recording on that last transmission, so when you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will, and then follow that call sign by today's date, 9/11/20, and that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Roger, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend coming up.
Roger, Steve, and threes to you, sir. Thanks for checking in, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie, Papa, mobile.
Papa, Charlie, Papa. Papa, Charlie, Papa. And what's the name there?
Yeah, good afternoon, Jim. The name here is Rob Roger Oscar Baker. It's Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie, Papa, mobile, QSO.
Roger, Robin, how's everything up your way?
Well, it's a beautiful sunny afternoon here in Eastern Ontario. Not sure what it's going to be like tomorrow, but today is nice.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now, I usually copy you fairly hot on Milford or Rochester. I got nothing today, but I got a room full of you on my local antenna, Roger.
Yes, well, you know, it's just conditions the way they are. I guess I'm on a little bit different route today, perhaps, than I usually am, but I'm running north and south along the coast of Lake Huron, so normally I'm running east and west, QSO.
So yeah, you know, the thing is, you will have some directionality as you change north, south, east, west. I'm assuming that your antenna's on the rear left?
No, it's actually on the roof of the truck.
Ah, well, then I would think that you wouldn't have much variance, you know, because that would be, is it directly in the middle of the cab or something?
Yeah, it's pretty close to the middle of the cab, a little closer to the right-hand side, but
kind of in the middle of the cab roof, front to back. It's a four-door cab, so it's a fairly big roof.
Roger that. Roger that. Well, sounds really good. So I would doubt there would be much directionality to it the way it's mounted, Roger.
Yeah, QSO, I haven't really noticed too much, but conditions do change from time to time, and that's maybe what we're experiencing today, QSO.
Roger. Now, what mic are you running on, and what radio?
I'm running my Kenwood TS120 and running a B104 aesthetic hand mic.
Roger, it's amazing. That D104, what is that, about a 40-year-old microphone?
Yeah, it could be that old, I'm not sure. It's, although I think they still sell them. I bought it used from a fellow a few years ago, but I think they still sell them. But, the technology, I don't think it's changed a whole lot in the last 40 years.
Roger. Now, that isn't the Chrome D104. This is a hand mic D104. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, QSO, yes, the D104 hand mic.
I was just thinking about you going down the road clutching this Chrome D104 desk mic.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit crazy, but not quite that crazy. But I do have a D104 at home, as you may remember, that I've refurbished and put a Electret cartridge in it with a crisper on it, QSO.
Yes. Now, have you gotten a lot of comments, good comments about that mic?
Oh yeah, it's always always very positive feedback on the audio for sure.
Roger. Now, I'm not sure exactly that you were using the exact element that I was talking about there. Mine is, it's like a $1.98. And it's, I guess, I don't know, but there's all different kinds of flavors. But I use that rubber housing from a phono jack and just cut it with a razor blade, and so it, the diameter of it fits right over the condenser element, and then you have this sleeve that's about not quite half an inch long, and the EQ curve that it does passively would take you probably an equalizer at plus 10 at 7K or somewhere in there to duplicate the frequency response of the crisper. Roger?
The D104 has been around for 85 years.
Is that right? Wow. Well, I guess that's right. But it's an amazing microphone. Rob, you're sounding great out there, buddy.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, the cartridge I have in my microphone at home, it's just a cheap off-the-shelf Electret cartridge, and then I used a piece of heat shrink tube over top of the element, and I used the body of a ballpoint pen in the opening of it when I heated it. So the opening is actually only about a 1/4 inch in diameter and maybe 3/8 of an inch long. So.
Roger. Is it about the size of the Electret mic, the opening in your crisper?
A little bit smaller, actually. The Electret cartridge is probably 3/8 of an inch diameter, and the tube feeding into the cartridge is about 1/4 of an inch.
Roger that. Well, it sounds good. As I recall when I heard it, and that's the thing. Of course, you have to. Now, I'm assuming that you're running a windscreen on that mic, Roger.
No, negative. No, I just sit back from it 4 or 5, 6 inches, something like that when I'm talking on it. And the one that I have in the truck here is back with 3 or 4 inches diameter.
Roger that. Now, the test for that circuit is, it's an audio test, and if you're like have a VU meter tied to an amplifier or something, and you've got that mic, the word is SACE. And I'm not sure exactly how you might spell that, S-A-S, I guess, SACE. And that way the S is the top end, the A is the mid-range, and the S, again, is a double check on the top end again. And as you look at a VU meter and say that word on that microphone with a crisper, those should all stay at 0 level. Roger?
Yeah, QSO, I'll have to try that when I get home. But I just turned the corner. I'm heading east and west now, getting closer to the lakeshore. So just curious if you noticed any
pretty
change
good if
or
you turn
drop
the
in my
gain up a
signal.
little better too.
Sir, gosh, hang on there just a minute. Talking to Rob out there in the Mobile. Rob, I didn't notice any difference in your signal east or west, north or south, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, that's good to know. And anyway, like I said, we're heading east and west now, down towards my home QTH, and there's an escarpment just inland, about a mile from my house. That my house is about 150 feet lower than inland, so I'm right down sort of at lake level. So anyway, good chatting again this afternoon, Jim. Thanks for being there, and I will check YouTube over the weekend when you post the video. And we'll talk to you again soon. And thanks for doing what you do. 7-3, good afternoon. KC9VKV, B3PCP Mobile.
Roger, Rob. And a newer way to get to this recording that I have found is if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 9/11/20, and that will take you directly to this QSO recording, whereas before YouTube started dropping it further back and further back to where you really had to look for it. So if you do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 9/11/20, will take you right to this recording. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, very good. I just looked at the meter in the truck here when you were talking, and you're peaking between 10 and 20 over 9 here, QSO.
Roger, on the 10 to 20 over. Appreciate that, Rob. Let me say threes to you, sir, and I'll let you get back to driving. Thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you next Friday if you get a chance.
Yes, I'm sure. Good afternoon. B3PCP Mobile, clearing QRC.
This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net, and there was a gentleman that made some comments. Sir, are you still coughing? This is KC9VKV. Gentleman had some comments. Do you still coffee? And nothing heard. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 3, November, Juliet Tango.
The November Juliet Tango. Come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign.
Yeah, Whiskey 3, November, Juliet Tango. Name here is Roland.
Roland, is that a Roger?
That's it.
Okay, how do you spell that? Give me phonetics on that.
Roland, R-O-L-A-N-D.
Got it. And where are you located, Roland?
Glen Elg, Maryland.
Okay, Maryland. And what radio are you running, sir?
Yeah, this is an ICOM 7610.
Roger. Well, give me about 10 to 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna setup.
Okay, yeah, the antenna here is a 0.5 43-foot vertical antenna. Mounted out in the backyard, being run by about 120 feet of LMR 400, and right now currently running an ALS 1306 amplifier at about 700 watts out. So back to you.
Oh my gosh, in honor of our QRM attack today, I call this one Ode to QRMer. Here's a thought to consider for my QRMer. What if I were you and you were I? Listen to me, brother, or at least try. You don't know me, but yet you attack me. I've done nothing to you, so why? Think about it. It's not to me to blame for this attack, but you. So I must represent something you distaste. But what could that be? Do my words cause you hate? Does my voice cause you pain? Think about it, brother. It's not me, it's your rage that's to blame. And you must get yourself under control, because if it's me you attack today, who will it be tomorrow? Some kid in the park? Yeah, that would be your style. Attack some kid in the park in the dark, because it doesn't matter to you. Just anyone will do. Your rage and hate will seal your fate. You know, I would seek help if I were you. This has been Ode to QRMer. Roland, how goes it, sir?
Oh, not too bad. Just turn the radio on, and I agree with everything you just said there. turned the radio on and just happened to hear you in there, and had a great signal here into Maryland. Good golly, you were about a 10 plus over here into Maryland, and maintaining pretty well.
Roger, Roger. Well, we have a little setup for your radio if you might be interested to fatten it just a little bit. And it involves setting up your, bringing up your compressor and adjusting it for 3 token amount, but it does exactly what we need it to do. Roger?
Copy that. Actually, the compressor's at 3 currently.
All right, and then we move to the ALC, and with mic gain in hand and you speaking just naturally, normally into your microphone, adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Them guys, they're still in the park over there with the kids in the park.
Speaking with Roland, do you still have a copy, Roland?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Disappeared for just a second.
Oh, I did?
Well, you did or I did, one or the other.
All right, so now we're to your ALC meter, and you're going to speak naturally, normally into it, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, you see it's 30% right there. I would say that's approximately right where it should be, about 2/3 right there, mid-scale to 2/3, yep.
Roger, Roger. Now, let me, what's your EQ setting? Could you tell me that?
Sure, the EQ is +3 on the treble and -1 on the bass.
Yeah, that's good there. We have a QRMer that's with us today. Don't know exactly what the problem is. A QRMer, what is your problem today, sir? Nothing heard on the QRMer. Anyway, Roland, tell me about your the best thing you like about your radio.
Actually, I'm still figuring that out. It's relatively new to me. I've only had it about a month, but honestly, I've had very little time to play around with it. I had its baby brother, the 7300, and I liked that so much I went and got the big brother, and still learning it, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy radio to operate.
Roger, Roger. I'm looking at your curve on a frequency meter, and you have a beautiful curve. I mean, from up on the top end all the way down to like almost 100 cycles on the spectrum analyzer, Roger.
Copy that. Yeah, the microphone is the Heil ICM microphone. Actually, I just attached it to the radio. I was previously using the ICOM SM50 microphone. I thought I'd give this one a try.
Roger. Now, I would suggest checking one other thing, and that would be go to Quick and bring up Drive, and let me know what your level is for Drive.
Sure, it's set at 50% right now.
All right, go ahead and increase that to 60%.
Okay, there's 60% on the Drive gain.
All right, and that picked you probably another 5% of average peak modulation there. So I think you're sounding beautiful, Roger, Roger.
Wow, copy that. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a nice radio, and like I said, I've enjoyed it thoroughly in the short time I've had it so far.
Roger, and if you would like to hear it, if you go to YouTube. It'll probably take us a couple of days to upload this recording, but if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 9/11/20, that should take you directly to this recording, Roger.
I'll copy that. You know, I didn't get your name there.
Name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike, and we're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River right at Louisville.
Okay, Jim, very good. And wow, you jumped up to a 20 over that time. So beautiful signal, sounding good there, Jim. All right, we'll let you run. Appreciate your help, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other people out there that would like to talk with you and get some assistance with their audio. Take care, Jim. 7-3 is best to you and yours. Stay safe.
Roger, Roger, rolling 3 that way, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday, and it'll probably take us just a couple of days to get this uploaded. We give ourselves 48 hours, so We'll get it there within 48 hours. So 3 is rolling. Catch you later. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. There is a Lima whiskey. Come back with the whole thing, please.
Okay, Jim. Call sign is Whiskey 8, Lima Whiskey, located in Michigan. The name is Tim.
Roger, Tim in Michigan. And gosh, we got a setup for you, brother. I think it'll improve your signal drastically, Roger.
Okay, copy that. Well, we're test driving an SDR on 7,000. Yeah, I have a couple questions if you can. It's kind of generic, just about the equalizer on board of this SDR. Over.
Roger. Well, first off, you are running absolutely with no processing. Your dynamic range is 10 dB. And what we want to do is bring that to a 3 dB, which will increase your signal-to-noise ratio and transmit 3 times. So if you're interested, let's start. Now, I can't talk about EQ with you right now because as we fatten your signal up, your EQ curve will sound totally different than what it does when you're at 10 dB dynamic range. Roger?
Okay. So, are you familiar with the SDR? Do you run any of those?
No, I am not. Our setup is very generic. So it starts with, I'm assuming that you do have a compressor, and it starts with engaging your compressor, but at a token amount, only a 3. It's something that you'll never hear working, but it does exactly what it needs to do. So if you would like to get a fatter signal, if you engage your compressor at a 3, that will be the beginning.
Okay, roger that. 3 dB right there.
Okay, and I'm assuming that your input level control is something like 0 to 10 or 0 to 100. And if it's a 0 to 10, we want a 3. If it's 0 to 100, we want a 30. Roger?
Okay, Jim, you'll have to explain to me what you're speaking about there. Are you talking about mic gain?
No, I'm talking about compressor attenuation. In other words, you have a compressor control, and on that compressor control, we want to utilize only about a third of the compressor. So if you have a rotary dial that controls your compressor input level, if you were to put it on a 3, 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger?
Okay, I've got a slider on the software program here that is at a 3 right now.
Okay, so that would look like about a third of its capabilities, Roger? I mean, as you look at the slider, it's halfway would be halfway, so we're talking about just a third of the way, Roger. There's 1/3 of the field there. Okay, now with your compressor inline, I want you to go to your ALC meter, and with mic gain in hand, I want you to speak naturally, normally into your microphone, and adjust your ALC level until it's reading mid-scale to 2/3. You'll be speaking normally into your microphone and with the mic gain in hand, and adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay, roger that. Let's grab that mic there. That looks like it might be able to come up a little bit, just a little bit. How's that right there?
We're starting to get there. Now, in addition to where we are, I want you to think about this. You know, we have the ability to control some of our audio within ourselves as we speak, the way we speak. And if you were to, say, be looking at your output watt meter or your power meter, whatever, and, you know, we're talking sideband, so as you speak, that meter is moving up towards maximum power output. The point is that we want to watch that meter as we speak, and we want to try to keep that meter up there at the maximum point by just our voice. And you do that by two things. Number one is the rate of speech. You can't get that meter to stay up if you're speaking like that. You know, you have to have, you know, speak along at a relatively good tempo, and also each word you're trying to keep the same volume level, amplitude level from each word, you know. So, and this is something that you know, will not be able to do probably right off, but the more you look at the meter as you speak, the more you relate to the meter movement to your voice, and it's, you know, over a period of time, you'll become very good at trying to keep that output up. Roger?
Okay, roger that. Copy that. Let's see. Yeah, that'll take some getting used to there. Let me see about getting this drive level down on the wattage. Okay.
Okay, and the other thing would be now, so we have your compressor in at a 3. That's a Roger?
Move there, Jim.
I'm sorry, we doubled. We have your compressor in at a 3, Roger?
Now we have that compressor at a 3rd, yes.
All right, and we have your ALC. As you're looking at your ALC meter, you have your mic gain adjusted to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. And the actual sweet spot of that ALC meter is halfway between mid-scale and 2/3. But you have to have some pluses and minuses, so we just say mid-scale to 2/3 by adjusting your mic gain control. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. It's right up there looking about like that right now there, over.
Roger, Roger. Now your signal to me is about 4 times fatter than when we began the conversation. It was very, well, non-processed. So you were running 10 dB dynamic range, and now you're running somewhere around 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%. Now, there's another thing. You're running a 7610, so if you went to quick and bring up drive, we do suggest that those with 7610s can run their drive, move it up from 50 to 60%. That's a little bit fatter signal. You might want to take your overall output down if you have amplifier problems or no, you know?
Okay. Well, just to clarify, negative on a 7610, this is an Apache Lab on 7000, over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. I'm sorry. I was, yeah. Forget the quick and drive. Not available on the Apache. But I think you know, our setup is one that's very generic, so we can set up almost any radio. I mean, that's got a compressor and an ALC, you know, and the end product will be a 3 dB dynamic range with an average percent of peak modulation between 80 and 85%, which is a very nice fat signal.
Okay, copy that, and that's just between the compressor and the mic gain on the ALC meter, and we've just done that, so you say you do notice a difference from the beginning there, over?
Oh, yeah, yeah, your signal is, you know, before I was seeing each word, you know, come up, and the thing about it is, what that compressor at a 3 does, it's a token amount, but it does ballistically start to shape the amplitude excursions of your voice. And by the time then it reaches that ALC, the ALC is further crunching just a little bit. So between the two, we're moving from a 10 dB dynamic range voice signal to a 3 dB dynamic voice signal. Roger?
Okay, copy that there. Okay. So let's see. Friday afternoon, I think we've spoken before, Jim, and you helped me along with a ESU radio there. I really appreciate what you're doing here for us. And if there's anything else we can do on this end, let me know, and we'll change it. Other than that, I'd let you get along with your next QSO there, Jim.
Roger, Tim. Just as a word of information, we have a spectrum analyzer tied to our receiver. Our receiver is pretty heavily modified for frequency response, low and below 100 cycles. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by today's date 9/11/20. That should take you directly to this recording. Before, we were just doing a call letter search, and then YouTube was nice enough to put our latest stuff up on page 1, so it wasn't very difficult to find. But I guess YouTube's had a change of policy, and sometimes something new winds up pretty far down the list. But if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 9/11/20, that will take you directly to this recording. Roger?
Yeah, roger all that, Jim. Well, thanks again, KC9VKV. This is WALLW73. You have a good weekend, eh?
Roger, Tim. And what I was going to say is the spectrum analyzer is tied to the output of our receiver, and so you'll be able to see precisely what your audio curve is. We have that spectrum analyzer as part of our set. Roger?
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, that's great. Thank you there, Jim.
Roger. 3 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3, Papa Charlie, Papa, I'm now at home.
Papa Charlie, Papa at home. Come back.
Yeah, okay, Jim, just wanted to jump in quickly. I'm back at home now, and I'm on the modified D104 with the CRISPR and the electric heart rate QSO.
Roger. Well, there is a great similarity between the two signals. Now, I understand that the one that you're on now has the electret cartridge, right?
Yeah, QSL. Yeah, I'm running a Kenwood TS-850 barefoot into a four-band trap vertical on the roof of the house. And I'm using the refurbished D104 microphone with the electret cartridge that's fitted with the CRISPR on it.
Yes, sir. Now, are you using the amplifier of that D104?
Negative. No, the electric cartridge is going right into the radio.
Absolutely. Sounds good, sir. Sounds good. Thanks for checking in.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to give you a comparison between the two on the same day. Anyway, thanks for being there, 73 V3PCP.
Roger. KC9VKV. Now, there's another station back in there that was giving us a shout. Other station, go ahead.
November 2, Papa
Kilo Charlie 3, Delta Victor Tango.
2 stations at once. The loudest one. Take it.
November 2, Papa Yankee Hotel.
November 2 station. Come back phonetically with your call sign slowly.
November 2, Papa Yankee Hotel. November 2, Papa Yankee Hotel.
Okay, I'm having some trouble between Papa and Hotel. What is the letter between Papa and Hotel?
Yankee, yellow, the letter Y.
Into PYA, Roger? PYH, Roger?
QSL.
Roger, and what's the name there?
Name is Mike.
Roger, Mike. Just a little bit slower on your words there, sir. You're late for a train, or?
No, not really. So, kind of how I used to talk quick. That's about it. No train here.
Roger, Mike. And what's your location, sir?
Location here is state of New York.
All right, let me see about bringing up Milford again. I got kicked out of Milford again. Boy, it's worse than the law allows. Here we go. And, yeah, boom. All right, Mike, come back and tell me 10 seconds or 15 seconds about your antenna system.
Okay, I had that up about 34 feet, running to
Yaesu 991 Alpha, about 150 feet of coax.
Alrighty. And did we go through your radio? What radio are you running?
The Yaesu 991 Alpha. I'm running the FE100
Okay, I kept hoping that I would find a better signal on one of my SDRs, but I haven't, and the problem is that you are about a couple of dB above my noise level. So let's see, maybe let me try something else here. Hopefully this will help. You're running 100 watts, I assume?
95 watts.
Roger, I got a pretty good copy now on my local antenna, so we'll try it from there. Repeat the radio you're running.
Okay, it's Yaesu 991 Alpha, and I'm running the FE100 decimal.
Okay, and tell me something about your radio that you like.
I love the filtering in this radio, and the option to take it portable. I do a lot of portable work. I was running a Yaesu 857 Delta, then I picked this thing up, and I haven't touched the 857 since. Use it as the base rig and also all my portable work.
All right, so let's just check a couple of things on the setup of that radio. I'm hoping that you... hang on just a moment here. I'm hoping that you have your compressor in at a 3. Is that a Roger?
I have it at 50% now, but I can back it down to 30.
Yes, put that on 30% compression.
Okay, Jim, is this any different, any better, any worse?
Looking good. Now go to your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3. As you speak naturally, normally into your microphone, just adjust that mic gain until you're running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, Jim. See here. We'll back it off a little bit. I had it on 50. And right about there is up between half and 2/3.
Alrighty. Now let's look at your EQ. You have equalization for that radio?
Yes, I do. I have it on, and I don't know what the settings are. I just set it to where it was. When I got the radio, I just turned mic EQ on, but I do not know the settings. But I can go into the settings.
Roger. Do you know, is that a 3-band EQ?
Yes, sir. It's low, mid, and high.
All right. Can you go to EQ?
Yep. Give me just a second. I'll go to the menu here and get the EQ.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, Jim. That should do it right there.
All right. The first thing is I suggest that mid-range equalization be in the. What's the reading of that mid-scale equalization control?
Okay, the EQ level for number EQ2, which is the mid, it's at 0.
Yes, that's the place because you're talking about balance. Top to mid-range and bottom to mid-range. And if you boost the mid-range, then it's so much harder for the top EQ to catch up and the bottom EQ to catch up. So, what you want to do is start with the mid-range in the flat position. Matter of fact, ICOM and their new EQs are only using a 2-band because they understand that, you want to keep the mid-range flat so the top and the bottom has an easier chance of balance. So their EQs for the 7300 and the 7610 are only 2-band EQs, but they work perfectly because, like I say, if you want to tune that radio up properly, you will keep that mid-range at neither cut nor boost. Roger?
Okay, roger, Jim. And I also want to note that I do have this high emphasis filter on the step point. Would you like me to turn that off?
Yeah, go flat.
At all with the desk mic.
Okay, so you're flat on your desk mic? All right, go back to your ALC and check your level, mic gain, and adjust for mid-scale to 2/3. Because sometimes when you switch things around, levels shift, and you need to go back and verify that you are where you think you are. So again, with that modified, go to your ALC and adjust your mic gain for mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC.
Okay, roger, Jim. And
much. Right there is mid-range. We're off. I should say third.
Well, 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 I see the QRM, you've chosen to join us again. I can see you hiding out in your little room, acting out your little secret fantasy, your uncontrollable desire to be in control. But I know that you know QRMing is a negative reaction to past life experiences. And now QRMing has become a habit because it hasn't cost you anything yet. But your luck will run out and you will be found out, and everyone will know you are the QRMer. You're not the nice guy everybody thinks you are. QRMer, hear my words. Your day of reckoning is near. Your life will be ruined when you ultimately have to pay your due to society. But my brother, you have a chance now to walk away from this dangerous, almost uncontrollable urge to control and disrupt. You have the power to help yourself by recognizing this inward hurt manifesting in an outward attempt to seek relief through the satisfaction of hurting others. You must realize what's been done in your life is done. You have to rise above the past and seek control of your future. Rise up and start a new you, a better you, a positive you, through God's help. Amen, brother. So, Mike, come back here.
Okay, Jim, no problem. We're back. And I heard the old QRMer earlier. That was pretty good. Anyways, back to business.
Roger, Roger. So now you have readjusted your mic gain to where your ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
What's up, Jim?
Okay, I'm copying you maybe just about 2 to 3 dB above my noise level. I would like to help you with your EQ, but you know, I have so much other band noise in there that I can't. My spectrum analyzer is just so full of other noises that I can't really see your audio curve, and you're so far in the noise that my ears can't really get attuned to your EQ pattern. So, but maybe here just in a minute, maybe Mother Nature will be generous and improve your signal a few dB, and I'll be able to get a handle on it, Roger.
No problem. Yeah, Kentucky, we have a problem with Kentucky, and you're out your way, Indiana. But not the favorite path for my RF to follow. And I always have a problem reaching out to you guys that way.
All right. So what I would say, I had a nice about 7 dB excursion there to your peaks, and I would suggest that you go to your top end EQ and boost midway. Boost midway to your top end EQ, about half of your capabilities in the boost mode, and the same thing on the bottom end, about halfway boost on your bottom end EQ, because right now you're very mid-rangey, and we want to try to broaden that out and hear what that sounds like.
Okay, very good, Jim. Yes, to level 1, remote. That's actually 0. So I will turn that up a little bit.
Yeah, just go ahead and adjust that top end EQ for about half of its push capabilities. Adjust your top end EQ for about half of its push capabilities, Roger?
Okay, very good. You turn the bottom level down to 5, and give a couple of pushes behind it.
All right, give me 10 seconds of something about the radio that you like, and let me see if I can find a better path for us.
Okay, Jim. A better path for us. Better path. I do like the filtering of this radio, as I mentioned before, and I do enjoy the option to take it portable without much trouble. I do a lot of portable work. Filtering helps me a lot of band noise, that kind of thing. It really helps me out quite a bit on receive.
Gosh, I couldn't find any better path, so I am on my local antenna, and you're about 4 dB above my local antenna. So, yeah, and you still have a pretty mid-rangey signal. So I'm gonna give you a piece of advice that I never ever give, but in your situation, it just might help. Take your mid-range and decline negative about half of its capabilities. Your mid-range, about half of its capabilities rolling off. Mid-range, about half of its capabilities. Roger?
Okay, very good, Jim. And that's half of the mid-range right there. That's negative 10, it's down to a negative 20. So that's half range.
Okay, now what mic are you running again?
I'm running the MD100 dot mic.
Stock mic, did you say?
MD100. It's the Yaesu Mike Delta 100 dot mic.
Okay, and does that have an equalization switch on it?
Yes, it does. It does have the switch on the bottom. It's a high emphasis, and then there's the other filters, filter 1 and filter 2.
If you can, change that, as you're talking into it, switch that switch, and let me hear the difference.
Yep, I doubled there a little bit, Jim.
Yeah, I want you to hang upside down with your left foot and...
How's that work? Is that any better, Jim?
I think it is, sir. You're seem to be less mid-rangey.
Okay, yes, filter 1 on the dot mic. Attenuate the voice.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits for right now. I think it's sounding a lot better. I don't have exactly the signal that I want to be able to nail it any closer than where we are. But if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Earlier the better. Say around 3:45 if you can, and that way traffic is less, and I'll be able to maybe copy you, and hopefully we'll have a better signal, and we can come up with absolute positivity on your EQ. Roger?
Roger, Jim. And yeah, thanks for the help today. I tried a few times to get into your show. The first time last summer when I was first licensed as a general, and of course the Q-armor ruined our chance to check out the radio, and the last time the band was horrible and I couldn't get in there. But we'll try it next Friday then.
Roger, Mike, 3Z Waste, sir, and yeah, if you can join us next Friday, that'd be great, and we'll be able to nail that EQ absolutely. It's close now, but we can do it better. With the spectrum analyzer and the ear, it just there's no reason why we can't be a lot more articulated in our transmissions, and that is with the top end leading the edge for brightness. Brightness is the success of being able to copy the mail and hearing somebody when they're way down in your noise level, and importantly understanding what they're saying. A lot of times you can hear them down in your noise level, but you can't make out what they're saying because their audio is not EQ'd enough, articulated enough to be able to perceive the words in heavy distractions like noise or QRM. So 3's to you this time, Mike, and we'll see you next Friday. And this is KC9VKV, and Mike, also, if you want to hear your recording, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by today's date 9/11/20, that will take you to this recording, and give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. Roger?
Roger. We'll check that out. And I didn't turn the tree to PAX, but we'll bring out the time. We'll look for you next Friday.
Roger, Mike 3's. KC9VKV now will be wrapping up with our QSO-VLOG net for this Friday. Since 3:30, we've been recording live, and so if you have a radio, you participated, and you want to hear what it sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by today's date, 9/11/20, that'll take you right to it. So that will wrap us up for today. This is KC9VKV, returning this frequency to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV Clear.